Lewis Hamilton has done what even the most optimistic Ferrari fans would not expect and left Mercedes to join the Scuderia in 2025. This is one of the biggest bombshell moves in the 21st century in Formula One and sent the F1 world into meltdown this week. The domino effect this will cause has already started, with Sainz confirming he will leave the team after this season. So the question now is, what will Sainz's future be? And not only that, but what will this move bring about in terms of the driver market? Hamilton's departure for Mercedes has set in motion a set of events that will shake the Formula One world to its core. The seven-time world champion openly expressed his distrust in the Mercedes team and will leave after this season's end to join none other than arguably the greatest team in motorsport history, Scuderia Ferrari. This comes as a massive surprise, not only because it's the greatest still active driver going to a team like Ferrari, but because the way Hamilton was describing Mercedes when he signed the new contract in the summer made it look like he would definitely finish his career in the team from Brackley. Speaking for the first time about the call to end his long association with Mercedes, Hamilton said, "I've had an amazing 11 years with this team and I'm so proud of what we have achieved together. Mercedes has been part of my life since I was 13 years old. It's a place where I have grown up, so making the decision to leave was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. But the time is right for me to take this step and I'm excited to be taking on a new challenge. I will be forever grateful for the incredible support of my Mercedes family, especially Toto for his friendship and leadership, and I want to finish on a high together. I am 100% committed to delivering the best performance I can this season and making my last year with the Silver Arrows one to remember." You have to respect Hamilton, whether you like him or not. Willingly going up against one of the fastest drivers on the grid in a completely new team at the age of 40 is simply a feat that not many legends of the sport would undertake. Not only that, he probably walked away from a lot of money as well, because as we know, rumours were flying around of him being an ambassador for Mercedes and having some ownership of the team. That's definitely not going to happen now, and the only reason I can think of is because cementing himself as the greatest is more important to him. So him bringing an 8th championship home with Ferrari of all teams would be insane and a fitting end to his career. The move will also have a massive effect on the drivers' market for 2025, with many drivers now probably switching teams because of it, starting with the question of who will replace Hamilton at Mercedes, of course. Leclerc and Hamilton, both previously working under Ferrari's team boss Fred Vasseur, and Sainz, considered a recruit by Matteo Binotto. Ferrari's driver lineup appears well positioned for Maranello's challenge against Red Bull. However, this has created a void at Mercedes, and the timing couldn't be worse. If Hamilton's move had been finalised earlier, Mercedes might have had more flexibility in the driver market. Ultimately, Hamilton's unexpected decision followed several high-profile contract renewals, limiting Mercedes' options. Leclerc, for example, could have been a prime target for the Silver Arrows. With Max Verstappen firmly committed to Red Bull, there are few other established names available in 2025. Mercedes could have considered McLaren's duo of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, but with Piastri's extension last year and Norris recently signing a contract keeping him at McLaren until 2026, these alternatives are no longer viable. So who else could Mercedes consider? Initial hype on social media centered around Mercedes' young talent Andrea Kimi Antonelli, who is set to debut in Formula 2 this year after a rapid ascent through the junior ranks, ending in a championship-winning season in the Formula Regional European Championship. However, while Formula 1 has seen cases like Kimi Räikkönen and Verstappen making early debuts, the prospect of promoting the 17-year-old after just 3 years in cars may seem fanciful and deviates from Mercedes' traditional approach to young drivers. Comparing this to George Russell's trajectory after winning the F2 title, he spent 3 seasons at Williams before rejoining Mercedes. Even if Antonelli excels in F2 immediately, a similar developmental move might be more prudent for the young talent's sustained career growth. So if Russell Antonelli is seen as the future for Mercedes, then who could serve as a temporary solution for 2025 and 2026? One standout free agent whose stock has surged in recent years is Alex Albon from Williams. Having evolved into a much stronger driver since his early promotion to Red Bull, Albon played a pivotal role in Williams' recovery, securing all but one of the team's 28 points in 2023 and lifting them from 10th to 7th in the Constructors' Championship. At 27, coming off his best ever F1 season, Albon's combination of speed and maturity could make him a really good signing. Additionally, his long-standing friendship with Russell could, in theory, contribute to a very harmonious pairing for Mercedes. And what would happen to Sainz then? Well, with the Spaniard confirming on social media what we all knew, that he would be leaving Ferrari, where could he go? One potential team might be, believe it or not, Red Bull. While Max Verstappen remains committed to the Austrian team until 2028, Sergio Perez's contract is set to expire at the end of this season, and there's no doubt that Sainz could potentially be an upgrade over the Mexican driver. But the question arises whether Sainz is willing to accept a role as the second driver. It's worth considering that being with Red Bull might limit Sainz's ability to contend for the world title, as historically, Red Bull has often had a primary focus on one driver. Sainz and Verstappen had clashes during their time at Toro Rosso when both debuted in Formula One. Although they have since rekindled their friendship, the permanence of this camaraderie might be uncertain if they were to become teammates again. The dynamics at Red Bull, particularly in terms of team hierarchy and internal relationships, are pivotal factors that could influence Sainz's decision on whether to join as a potential second driver. There is also an opportunity for Sainz at Aston Martin. Fernando Alonso is currently the star driver there, but his contract is expiring. There is a chance that Alonso wants to retire, so that opens the door for Sainz. Aston Martin have the financial resources and the facilities. The question is, what will the organisation look like? For instance, it is still uncertain whether Lawrence Stroll and consorts will remain owners of the team, so therefore the most logical option could be stake F1 or the future seat at Audi. Audi and Sainz have been flirting with each other, let's say, for some time, especially due to Sainz Sr.'s good relationship with the German brand. The big drawback for Sainz is the team's current performance because, as we know, under the Alfa Romeo name, the team barely finished 9th in 2023 in the constructors' standings, so he would be basically starting from the bottom. However, a strong core is beginning to form there, with Andreas Seidel as CEO and James Key as the technical director. Sainz remembers these two names well from his time at McLaren and at the new project. He would also become the undisputed frontrunner, a long-held wish for the Spaniard. Beyond the attraction which is driving for Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton's move to the team is even more significant because of his admiration for his idol Ayrton Senna. Many anticipated that Senna might have chosen Ferrari for the peak of his F1 career if circumstances had allowed him to retire on his terms. While this may not be the primary motivation for Hamilton, it adds a meaningful dimension to his F1 narrative, which will allow him to explore a path that Senna didn't have the opportunity to go on. What is often not discussed with Hamilton is that he's a racing romantic. Yes, he's a winning machine, or was prior to 2022, but he's aware of his standing in a sport he truly loves. He knows that being the first driver to deliver a title to Maranello for over 15 years will secure a legacy for the ages. Taking an 8th title with Mercedes looks unlikely, and perhaps at present doing the same with Ferrari against a fully charged Verstappen and Red Bull has equally long odds, but he'll try it nevertheless, and why not? He could succeed in it. What do you think about this unreal of a move in the sport? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you again very soon.